Cody is a Wild West town with Wild West beginnings, and the characters who made up Cody's history sometimes linger, but not just in memories. Take the world-famous Irma Hotel, for instance. It's said that a soldier haunts the hallways in the lodge that Buffalo Bill built and named after his daughter. That's according to Mike Darby, whose family has owned the property for 30 years.
I've heard stories that housekeeping actually saw the bottom half of a soldier walking through the room, and all they saw were his faded blue pants with a gold stripe and a saber. And he just journeyed across the room and went out through the hallway, through the door that was closed.
In this room?
In this room.
Darby also tells a story about a couple of travel writers who stayed in room 35, which is said to be the most frequently haunted room at the Irma.
And pretty soon the sink starts going off and on 3 or 4 times, and they're really worried. So they turn the lights on. Somehow they go back to sleep. They wake up in the morning and here their clothes are piled up in a pyramid at the foot of the bed.
And he says this is not an uncommon occurrence.
I'll hear about them, say, once a week, once every 10 days. You know, somebody will see something, somebody will come in and all their cell phones will go dead, their computer will go dead, and as soon as they walk back out the door, everything comes back to life.
But it's not just the Irma Hotel that has a haunted history here in Cody. There are other locations in town that have spooky stories associated with them as well.
Jeannie Cook is a retired Park County historian. Her grandfather settled here in the early 1900s, and she herself moved to Cody almost 50 years ago. She says if there's a ghost story, she's heard it.
The Lane-Bradbury Hospital is just down the street from here, and I've had many reports over the years of people seeing ghosts in that backyard. She was in a position where she was amputating arms and legs and things like that, and she would bury them in the backyard.
Cook points out one building in downtown Cody that has a history of mysterious happenings.
Well, I talked to some of the ladies who worked there, and they told me that there was a young boy that would appear from time to time. Come to find out, Vogel had a furniture store, and he was also the undertaker. They had the coffins, and so apparently this little boy must somehow be connected with that.
She adds that there's one place in particular that's reported to be haunted, but not a lot of people know about it.
I get this call from a lady who had just moved here, I think from California. She described to me where she lived. And she said, there's like a field, out to the east of me. She says, I'm seeing ghostly apparitions floating above that field. And I don't know what's going on. I want to know what was there. And I said, well, that's the old Newton Cemetery. And the bodies from that cemetery were moved to Riverside, probably back in the 1960s. But they probably didn't get all the bodies because in the early days when they buried somebody, they may have only had a wooden cross or something, and it just, went away.
Cook points out that the more stories people hear, the more believers there are in paranormal activity.
But I think in more modern times, people are beginning to recognize that there really is something with paranormal activity. And I think there's really been, like I say, a lot of it in this town.
Mike Darby at the Irma says that after all he's seen, he has no doubts.
Different things have happened that weren't explainable, people that have passed away, and in their rooms I'd find things, I'd hear things. So I guess, it's not that I believed, I was shown.
Spooks and specters aren't just tall tales in Cody. You might meet one right around the corner. From Cody, I'm Wendy Corr reporting.